Canal Partnership brings together a number of organisations and partners like the Glasgow City Council, ISIS from the private sector, the Scottish Government, Scottish Enterprise, and our aim is to bring forward probably the single biggest regeneration project in the north of the city we've seen in Glasgow for 30 years.
Well, from the Council's perspective, we see the canal as being very much at the heart of our attempts to regenerate and renew the north and the west of the city, and we want to deliver physical and economic renewal as well as deliver some social regeneration for the communities along the canal corridor.
Within the partnership there are many challenges. There's social deprivation, economic deprivation, there are challenges environmentally. But our partnership seeks to address all of those things in a holistic way, in a joined up way. And we see the partnership dealing with all of those issues across 5 different large communities, from Maryhill in the west to Port Dundas next to the city centre. We see all of those areas over the next 15 and 20 years emerging in a cohesive way, joined by the canal. So we'll look at this, from a housing perspective, from an environmental and ecological perspective. We'll bring tourists and visitors, but at the same time really deeply engaging local communities who live there now.
I think the main issue is the kind of lack of opportunities really for the local community, and it's really difficult because the area has declined over many decades. It's turning round now because of the activities of the Canal Partnership.
We've actually brought back life to the canal as well. Communities who were disengaged from the canal now are fully aware of just what kind of historic monument and asset they've got on their doorstep, and that's really a significant step forward for us. We've had a number of festivals which really highlighted the significance of the canal and what an asset it is for the area, and they've been highly successful over the last 3 years, and that's brought a lot of communities together who again never really imagined that the canal was going to be any of use to them or an asset to them, and that in itself has been a big step forward for the council. But also there's a number of major projects. We've started housing, a first phase of the housing up at the Maryhill side. Again, we've engaged with the business and cultural community and how they can tie in with the bottom end at the canal, which will bring jobs and tackle unemployment.
And that's really got to be the objective, to bring investment, which will bring jobs. And if we can get people back into jobs, it'll make all sorts of things better: health, education, crime. So that's kind of where we're heading for.
We've also focused very much on trying to develop a relationship with local communities and to ensure that those local communities are buying into what we're trying to achieve, see that they have a key role to play in the delivery of it, and also I think to understand the benefits to their communities of the activities that we are planning. Looking at the key area of the canal from Port Dundas through to the Maryhill Locks area, there are a number of different opportunities to deliver the kind of regeneration that we're talking about and to involve communities quite heavily in that.
There's a whole range of projects that we've been bringing forward, and part of that's a landscape link, and that's critical for the canal project. It's actually connecting the city centre back up into the Port Dundas area, and we feel for all the strategies we're bringing forward, whether it's a tourism strategy or whether it's a water sports strategy, that connection is absolutely critical to bring back people coming from the city centre and a direct link into Port Dundas.
It's really important that this isn't seen just as a canal project. It's seen as a much wider project, and therefore part of the first phase of work is actually connecting the city centre through a landscape link up into the Canal Partnership area. So that will be the first material shift in actually something going in the ground, and we think that the public will recognise almost this gateway into North Glasgow, a safe route that will open up a new part of Glasgow to many people.
Also at the Maryhill Locks side, we've got an opportunity with our plans for the Urbanetive to have that as a real centrepiece for the Maryhill Locks. It would be a real destination for the communities looking to come there, but it would define the whole area. We think it's central to what we're looking to deliver. We're already delivering at Maryhill Borough Halls with the assistance of the Scottish Government, who designated money from the Town Centre Fund, which will allow us to complete the Borough Halls and the sporting facilities we've already got in place up there. But at the Locks itself, we think the Urbanetive could give it a real definition, and what we'll look to achieve, it will become a focal point.
There's the housing emphasis that we will see in developments around Maryhill Locks, to see a housing partnership develop there with the council, Glasgow Housing Association, Maryhill Housing Association, the local registered social landlord, and ISIS as the development partner in the Canal Partnership. And we'll see a mixed tenure scheme come out of an area that has been derelict for a long number of years. The activities down in Portdundaston into Spears Locks, where we're able to look at quite a different approach to regeneration, less emphasis on housing, more emphasis on the business development opportunities that exist in those areas. And that's seeing the development really of an exciting new arts and culture quarter in the city linked to the canal. So some key developments and some key development opportunities, all aimed at improving circumstances for local people, but contributing to the economic development of the city.
I think these regeneration projects are very long term. They take a generation. We've been involved in projects which have taken 25 years, and big projects like this, 1,000 acre, to try and regenerate will take at least that. So I think the partnership's done really quite a lot of preparation work now. So bringing together land ownerships, for example, getting planning permissions, working with the local community to get a long-term vision in place for the area. And I think we're now moving to the next stage, which is starting to implement the first projects.
The links that we've managed to establish with some of the water sports organisations, for example, the water polo, the canoeing, kayaking and so on, developing these into firm projects which see the canal being used as a resource are quite important parts of the next phase. Delivering projects like the Big Man Bridge, which don't bring obvious economic benefits to the canal and the partnership, but are all part of raising the profile and awareness of the canal and the role that it can play. I think these are all key aspects of the strategy that we need to work through and deliver. Yeah,
I think there are a number of projects which I'm really excited about, which I think are going to, they may seem like a strange use of resources, but to tempt in investment, you sometimes need to do things which are unusual, eye-catching, and I think the things like the Big Man Bridge, which has a function in terms of linking up communities, but is certainly going to be eye-catching, and the landscape link through to the city centre, which also has a purpose, but is also going to be eye-catching. Those are the kind of projects that will bring investment and bring jobs in their wake.
Access to employment for local people, access to training opportunities and the benefits that can bring need to be at the heart of the physical regeneration process that we're carrying through in the canal. I
think this is a once-in-a-generational chance we've got to re-engage at the north of the city. I think there's been a big, strong commitment from the council to say this is high in our agenda. It's one of the major projects we've got, and we've put the full weight behind it at the council in trying to deliver this.
I think it's a real resource for recreation, for leisure, as well as a key contributor to the overall regeneration of the city.